Hi, I wanted to register a complaint with First Order Bank that I was just checking my credit report, and it appears that like 10 new accounts were made in my name that I did not give consent to, that I only came to the bank because I needed a loan for a previously owned speeder, which I'm making regular payments on, and I just don't understand why you have to make it so complicated and to be so greedy about things that, honestly, this is the whole reason we should go back to the portion standard. Anyway, I guess I'll await your reply. Thanks.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Star Wars Minute. It's the daily podcast where we analyze, scrutinize, and celebrate the Star Wars movies 1 minute at a time. I'm Pete the Retailer from PeteTheRetailer.com.
I'm Alex Robinson from AlexRobinson.fun.
I am Paul F. Tompkins, co-host of the Neighborhood Listen podcast.
Welcome back, Paul. It seems I could be mistaken, but I don't think that's Los Angeles.
No, I don't know what. I'm in Antarctica, and I'm embarrassed. I will say that I'm embarrassed, and I don't know how this keeps happening. But it's not so bad here. It's a lot warmer than I thought it would be, which I guess is sad. But certainly good for a guy who's lost at sea. You know what I mean?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. I don't want this to turn into the Terror, you know?
Once the word gets out that it's light jacket weather in Antarctica, we'll be a tourist boon. Well, thanks again for finding a signal, jumping back on with us to talk about Last Jedi.
Yeah, absolutely.
Today we're talking about minute 108, which, as Alex said yesterday, it starts with Kylo Ren fighting some guys. And it ends with Kylo saying, "It's time to let old thing." So, it's time to let old thing, everybody. You know what they say.
Adam's Family reference.
Yeah.
If you ask me, it's long past time to let old thing.
Yeah. Which, we were all thinking it, but I'm glad somebody had the guts to say it.
Exactly.
This is from the I can't remember the name of the Revenge of the West, the Chinese translation.
The backstroke of the West.
Backstroke of the West. That's the
Paul, are you aware of the backstroke of the West?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Yes, I am. Alex is really bringing the old favorites this week.
He's holding it down.
It's called coasting.
No, it's a lot of things that I haven't thought about for such a long time, and they're all. I'm having a wonderful trip down memory lane.
Memory
I feel
lane.
like a French guy
Antarctica.
who get into a cookie.
Oh man, this doesn't have to be an on-air conversation, but I just totally had an intense flashback from a commercial that I hadn't thought of in 30 years, and all of a sudden somebody linked to a video of it, and as soon as I hit play, I was like, oh, I remember every single note and word in this commercial, and it played every day when I was watching, after school. Like, I've seen this a million times, and it completely erased itself from my memory in like 1991, and then instantly all came flooding back
when you needed it
last week. Yeah. I'm going to spare everybody I was going to not mention it just in case it gets stuck in anybody's head. But
now, come on.
I gotta know.
It was the Nestle's white chocolate commercial. It was a very kind of a dreamy. I think in the description it said they were going for like a Maxfield Parrish kind of vibe, and it was like a soft late 80s kind of synth sound. It was like, Nestle makes the very best, Nestles, and you. It's my rendition of it is not to judge it by, but it instantly, like all of it, came back into my head as soon as I hit play, and I was like, oh.
Was the idea that like white chocolate is for adults?
Kind of. It was making it seem, it was.
It's sophisticated.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's kind of evocative of like, oh, this is a nice kind of a. Somebody else was saying that. It also tied into, they were going for a kind of a yuppie market with the vibe, the element. They're like, oh yeah, Nestle, yuppie chocolate.
It's the Mac Tonight of
it's the Mac Tonight of Nestle.
That one I didn't get. I feel like I've been Keeping Up, and that one I do. Who's Mac?
You remember
Tonight?
that Mac Tonight, that movie?
Oh, Mac Tonight. Yes.
Yeah.
Of course. I thought you said Max Knight. And I was
Max
like,
Knight. You remember him?
Who's this well-known commercial auteur?
Paul doesn't know who Max Knight is. Although to be fair, that let me also there was when last we spoke on this show, Paul, you snuck in a reference that I didn't catch until editing, and it made me laugh hysterically after the fact. And when you referred to Grand Moff Tarkin as a Cinnaburst shark, and I was I did not hear it at the time, and then afterwards I like was walking around telling people, it's like, but he said it was like a Cinnaburst. It's funny.
I'm glad. I'm gratified. That
Thanks for that time bomb.
Of course. That's how I like to work.
But today we're talking about minute 108. What do we got in 108? Yeah, the fighting action continues. We have a guy here who stood out to me. I love him because there's one of these guards just rushes in and attacks Kylo Ren with no weapon to speak of, just his like wrist guards. He's like, I'm gonna get you with this, and
It's like he just hates this guy.
Yeah.
He's like, you know what? I've had enough.
I'm going to pummel you to death with my gauntlets. But I wonder if that was like a setup. If he was like, all right, I'm going to go get him with I'm going to kind of, entangle him with my wrist guards. I'm going to kind of keep him busy. And then you get him from behind. And they're like, he started it and he was like, come on, guys, come on. And they're like, whoa, we fight one at a time here. What? I don't know. Don't know if you've been paying attention, but.
Free hits. Come on.
Anytime.
I did want to point out, I love the faceless helmets. I love that they don't have features on them. They don't have eye holes. That it's just, there's something that's extremely sinister about that. And I think it's a cool detail.
Yeah, that is cool.
Yeah.
It does make them seem even less, like you can reason with them. And clearly you can't.
Exactly.
The last guy fighting, there's no rationale for this guy to keep fighting. At that point, be like, you know what? All right, you're right.
Right, yeah.
I'm out.
The last guy should totally take off his helmet and be like, whoo, all right, we got him.
So Rey does this cool thing in this minute that I don't even know if it logically makes any sense, where the guy has her like in a head, like he's holding her in such a way where, and then she lets go of her lightsaber, pulls her arm out of the hole, catches the lightsaber, and then kills the guy. And it's a slow motion move too, which again in a fight scene, but it was a cool trick. I had watched it a couple of times to exactly see what was going on there, and it was a cool trick.
Now this is pre Game of Thrones final season, is it not?
I would think so.
Well, isn't it interesting that they repeated that move in Game of Thrones?
Oh.
When the little one is fighting the Iceman. And she's like, you think you got me, but I'm going to drop it and then pick him up with my other hand. I mean, come on.
You just gave us the laser swords version of Game of Thrones. Like the little one was fighting the Iceman.
Yeah. I remember zero names from that show.
Yeah.
Right. I don't. Yeah, it seems like it. Well, yeah, I think Game of Thrones ended in 2019, so that finale was, and Last Jedi was, before that. That's what my computer says.
I'm just saying is all.
2017. So yeah, I'm sure there was an influence there. Yeah, it is a good. Did this become a fighting trend, a screen combat trend? Can we find other examples of kind of, drop the sword and then use it? I bet.
Or even that predate this, I would be interested in seeing.
Sure.
Yeah. Another great trick that I really liked was Rey throwing the lightsaber, and then Kylo catching it and turning it on and stabbing that guy in the head.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That was fun.
Now he's got an eye hole.
Yeah.
But the way that's shot is great too, because it's not. At first, it's not exactly clear what happened. You just see it, and it gives the audience a chance to participate for half a second and be like, which is all we want.
Yeah.
So the way that's lined up, I wonder if there was that done with just kind of lining it up with the camera and getting it all like right before they start, or do you think that was goosed with computers? Do you think there was not an eye hole at all and they just kind of did it?
I think there was probably a computer goose in there.
I don't know. This movie, I bet they really went through the trouble of having a physical suit there. They spent $2 million on that stupid blue milk thing.
They flew in a space manatee with a helicopter. So
they went to like a forensics lab, got some real bodies to see, like to make sure the weight was proper and everything, and then they,
right.
And that's how we have seatbelts in cars.
Yeah. I thought you were going to say they went through the trouble of actually stabbing a guy. That was like,
they got some volunteers off of German Craigslist.
Right.
Do you think if you put up a thing and saying you will be killed on screen in a Star Wars movie, would people volunteer for that?
100%.
Yeah.
Not a ton of people, but there would be some people.
But you would get people.
Yeah, for sure. You wouldn't be waiting until 5 o'clock and like, well, I guess nobody's coming. I think that somebody would be there before you unlock the door.
Oh man, we're not guaranteeing we're going to use it in the film. Let's establish that.
That's okay.
Wait, the boom was in the shot on that one. Sorry.
Line.
This was a 1-2 of cool moves. The drop and stab followed by the throw and stab.
Throw and stab.
Yeah.
And I definitely remember this getting a big kind of hoot and holler of applause in the theater. This was very much, everybody was on board, and they were.
As I said, it's one of my favorite, it's definitely one of my favorite, probably my favorite lightsaber. This one and Empire are my favorite lightsaber battles, But, fantastic.
Wouldn't you have liked to see just one hose sliced and dry ice coming out?
Only if then that hose could then throw smoke in the face of someone who's wearing a mask. And
right. And then maybe they could dramatically, push their way out of the fog too, so we could get a little.
Oh yeah, it's a good system. So here's another great moment, because this follows on the right on the heels of the scene, because it also has an emotional undercurrent, because now you're like, Kylo Ren's a good guy now. It's kind of like has two, and then we get this great. I know the term is heel. Well, what's that? You like wrestling, Pete? So see, we see him go from a heel to a good guy, but then
face. Yeah. Oh, thanks.
And
Paul.
then everyone's like, yeah, but then he's like, she's like, there's still time to save the fleet, and he's just kind of like, and then it's dawning on you, like, oh my gosh, he's still a heel this whole time. Or is there a term for that, like a double? That must have happened in other situations where people have had radically turnarounds in wrestling.
Sure. Yeah. Well, and even it's he's almost so you putting me on the spot with my background, my behind the scenes wrestling lingo, and I'm trying to other than like a double turn perhaps.
That's where they go.
But
heel X.
A two heel turn. No.
2 heel turn.
But it is almost like he's almost like a regular Stone Cold Steve Austin, in that he's turning against somebody that you don't like, therefore you think he's going to be on your side. But you know what?
Right.
He's just as likely to give you a stunner and give you the finger, and then crush a beer.
Isn't a stunner enough? Did you have to give me the finger?
All right, I get it. Yeah. I'm already. It is an interesting kind of character thing, because you do think because she's all excited, she's like, great, I turned him, I did it, and she going back to she's calling him Ben, which he's responding to, which is that she's like, oh, he's not Kylo Ren, he's Ben, like he's the guy that I've been talking to, and she has that kind of I think it's in this. I'm trying to figure, where she starts and she's like, "There's still time. We can do it." And he has that moment of it's hard to tell how much of it he's contemplating or how much his mind is kind of made up. Like where he thought this was going to go and where he, as soon as this battle is over, as soon as he ignites that lightsaber and knocks pokes the guy's eye out with a lightsaber, is he just kind of like, okay, and now we're going to rule the galaxy together? Or is he still just kind of like, oh, that felt good. What's going on? Like, is he kind of, is he unsure of his path the way that Rey seems so sure of the way that it's going to go, in her direction?
Yeah. Right.
I don't know. These are questions. I don't know, but it's an interesting portrayal, interesting look from.
Yeah. I like how murky it is with stuff like that. It's really it adds so many levels to it, to your investment in these characters and what's going to happen.
Yeah.
I guess to me, I feel like he really had no intention of changing to the good side. Like this whole thing was like, I'm going to kill Snoke and I'm taking over. Like I'm sick of taking orders from him or whatever. So that's to me what it kind of feels like. But I guess like you said, it's up for everyone's interpretation is their own
right.
thing. So
that's what's fun about art, guys. Right.
You see it like this, but I think it could be like this.
Exactly. But I'm secretly right and you're secretly wrong. That's what I love about art.
You'll eventually figure out that I'm right.
Yeah. I pity you, but it's fun.
Oh. Well, here's a what if to chew on.
Mm-hmm.
What if at the end of Return of the Jedi, the Emperor is zapping Luke Skywalker. Darth Vader's watching him, and then Darth Vader's like, you know what? Forget this. I'm turning against Palpatine. He picks up the Emperor, and the Emperor is not zapping him with electricity, so he doesn't die. And so Vader throws the Emperor down. Then he's like, "All right, come on, Luke. Now we're ruling the galaxy." Like, are we just so sure that he has become good at the end of Return of the Jedi? Like. If Ben Solo had died right now, we would have all been, he turned into a good guy in the end, even though it's not like Siths all kill their masters anyway. He's just doing exactly what every other Sith had done. So,
Right.
So, that's my question.
You're saying without the Force electricity, Darth Vader could have been like, oh, great. Now,
if Darth Vader hadn't immediately died, if he had survived that and been like,
Be like, hey, remember when I asked you about that rule the galaxy as father and son thing? Did you have a chance to think about that? Because,
Now, where were we?
Yeah.
Oh, that would be a great turnaround line.
Right.
Yeah, because then Luke would basically be in the same situation Rey is it, where he's like, I guess he would just ran away like Rey does. Isn't that what she does? I guess we'll find out in a second.
Yeah, we'll
Go
see.
save the fleet.
Yeah. That's true. She does still have to save the fleet.
They're right outside the window.
The fleet.
The fleet over there.
That's something that I have coming up for the next couple of episodes. Like the next couple of minutes, rather. Let's take it outside of our context. Within the next couple of minutes of the movie, there are still people getting picked off and dying while they're having this conversation, and they're like, "Oh, we stopped the fleet." She's like, "Well, come along with me," and they're having this,
Yeah.
Granted, it's an important conversation and it's an important thing to turn, but like while that's happening, people are exploding outside.
Yeah.
And the longer that it drags on, this time we'll just make it as like hit a pause button or something, or if you want to, great. If you want to do this, let it all burn down. Let it all. Can we just pause for a second? The start with your guys. Tell them to stop. Then we'll let them get to the planet. Then we'll hash it out.
Right.
But
can you put a word in?
Yeah.
Or even just say, sure, I'll join you. Stop fighting.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll figure out the details later. Then,
Great.
Yeah. Rule the galaxy. Sure.
Ruling the galaxy. First thing, stop Hux. Okay.
So that's all I have for minute 108.
Pretty good minute.
Yeah. I think that's it. I guess we do. My one note is Ben, but that's when she's talking to him. Then when we covered that.
Right.
She's referring to him as Ben.
Ben Swallow.
Do you, Paul? Do you think that you will be able to extricate yourself and make it back to the show tomorrow?
there's no way that this can't be figured out. So I am certain that
Double negative.
no matter what, I'll be able to join you. I don't want to jinx it. 100% positive I'll be home by tomorrow.
All right.
But either way, no matter what, I will join you. I will be home.
Okay.
I like those odds.
Thank you.
Listeners, if you want to join us and see, you want to see the beautiful Antarctic vista behind Mr. Paul F. Tompkins, why not check us out if you haven't on StarWarsMinute.com/YouTube. That's where these episodes are going. If you're watching us on YouTube and you want to listen to the episode, I guess, without seeing what's going on, you could also do that as a podcast, anywhere you get podcasts. And we also, if you need more podcasts and occasionally more video, you can also support us on Patreon, StarWarsMinute.com/Patreon, where you will get episodes on the weekends, where you will see and hear us every single day if you want.
Every single day.
Every single day. You can't get away from us. You don't want to get away from us.
No escape.
Yeah. Well, we'll give you a temporary reprieve. Until tomorrow, we'll be back with a brand new Star Wars Minute.
Star Wars Minute.
Star Wars Minute.